Aside from Ivan Thomas, everyone's favorite Wilmingtonian is Matt Sullivan, and he's back in the studio today with us to talk about a very important issue, which is a very important issue for Wilmington, which is I-95.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about the history of I-95 and about the future of I-95.
Right.
Little, you know, spoiler alert on that. It's going to be a tough couple years.
It's going to be a couple of years, starting in a couple of years.
Okay.
So I went to the event at the Chase Center the Del Dot had on Wednesday this week to learn more about what they were doing. And there were a lot of schematics, a lot of things I did not understand.
Right.
What I did understand is when they say one lane of traffic on I-95.
Right.
And that is what it's going to look like for as much as 8 months at a time between 2021 and 2023.
That's going to be scary.
They're remodeling 19 bridges that cross over 95 and that kind of space, and bridges that I-95 is, because they keep calling it the I-95 viaduct, which is an odd, but that's the word for the elevated portion of 95 that runs through the city of Wilmington. It's a viaduct.
Viaduct is a fancy word.
Very fancy word for the big bridgey thing. And so they're going to be working on 3 miles of the road to keep it going and keep it up and standing. So you're expecting lane closures that go on for like 8 months. And there will be an 8-month period where only one northbound lane, I think, is open. So it's going to be a traffic
starting in 2021.
2023. So there's a couple years to prep for it, right? But, you know, think about alternative routes. But really, there's not much.
Yeah, like where you really going to go for
I guess you could invent a flying car, but besides that,
you got 3 years
it's
for that.
It's going to be. But I tell you what it got me thinking of. It got me thinking of the original introduction of I-95 through Wilmington. And I wondered.
Of course it did.
I wondered to myself, what did Del Dot do back then? How did they tell people about it? So apparently, there was a property at 907 Shipley Street called Matthews Brothers Furniture Store.
Yeah.
It's now a parking garage, I think. But Matthews Brothers was on Shipley. And they took a huge model. And they basically put it in the window there. And people would come by to see if the road was going to run through their houses. That was the introduction.
It was like a model train, like landscape.
It was apparently a beautiful model of the entire. It was 7 feet long, I think it says. The model's builders have done an excellent job in reproducing the tiny trains and narrow tracks.
Can we find a picture of this? Or
no,
it was never taken?
No, I don't. There might be a picture taken. It wasn't.
But you could see like, oh, there's my house, and there's a giant piece of concrete that's been driven through.
Right. You'd be counting streets and like, oh, and apparently that's where people were learning about the original.
And of course, we know how decisions about that type of thing were made.
So there were 3 plans. There were 3 possibilities of where it could go. One to the north, one to the south, one to the middle. If it had gone to the north, I-95 would be basically going down the Union Street corridor right now.
Right.
Down that way and down Kirkwood Highway, connecting back over. And then there was one closer to the water.
Sorry, Union Street. I know. I'm not.
But it was a lot. I mean, it was tense. Obviously, there was a lot of people forming committees to argue back and forth where it should go. A lot of churches got taken out by I-95.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, the churches were kind of cool with it. They basically, took their money and ran for the most part.
Right.
And relocated other places. But yes, there was also, it was not the most economically prosperous neighborhoods that it went through.
That's right.
What is this construction going to do? This new backup going to do to Wilmington?
Do we get anything for it, or is it just like, oh, it continues to work now?
Okay. Mostly it doesn't fall down, right? While you're driving on it, which is important.
It's good.
Everyone kind of wants that, right? And it has about 30 more years. Actually, there is one. They're making a major change to where 2nd Street goes on to 95 South, which is a terrible interchange right now. It's a really short merge. It's dangerous, and so where that happens, they're lengthening it. They're going to make it a little more pretty as an entranceway to the city. So that's going to be the major plus. But for the most part, it's just keeping it safe and keeping it so we don't,
Great.
So So no one wants 95 to fall down.
Are
they going to
give us more SEPTA trains during that period of time? Did they mention anything about that?
There was no discussion of SEPTA.
Okay, well that is.
So.
Okay.
All right.
But that is the point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That is.
More SEPTA trains.
More
SEPTA trains.
Yeah.
And more,
Okay,
and more.
10 out of the 15 people who work here live in Philly and drive into town.
Yeah.
And I think that would be great because I remember there used to be a train from Newark to Wilmington.
Oh no, there still is.
There still is.
It's just not that many.
There's like 3.
Yeah, we need more. We need more of that now. Also,
Yeah, there's 3.
That would help
and in
out.
Philly, there's a lot of trains down. Thank you for adding more trains, but we need a few more. Yeah. That's all. We
They
just
do
need a few
that.
more.
We have Uber and Lyft. Everyone is making money.
Flying cars.
Flying cars.
And flying cars.
Really holding out for the flying cars.
Flying cars.
All right. Well, thank you once again for
Matt.
this Wilmington 101 segment. Matt Sullivan, everyone's second favorite Wilmingtonian.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any positive stories that Zach and myself need to talk about, be sure to submit it at stories.wilmington.love.